Hi everybody, how are you? It's Jay Victoria, the Energy Queen, and this is the update for Sunday, November 10th and the week ahead. And just want to let you know what I do in these videos is basically every Sunday I upload like a new message. And I was thinking about that today because a lot of people who do like readings and stuff and energy updates on YouTube, I just wanted to explain that I'm different than that because I'm not trying to give you advice like basically what I want to say is I think that sometimes people who channel or give messages and stuff and you do it on a mass scale, so there's like, I'm still growing my channel, but I see a lot of these people with like, thousands of people watching, and I'm always like, I remember really tuning into some of those people and being like, this is really going to be about me, and like really taking that, those words seriously and letting them affect my life. And for me, it's like, I think if you're going to give a message to a lot of people, it's smarter to think of it more like, at least this is my approach. I like to think of it like like a weather report. It's like we all have our individual paths. We all have our individual energies, and we are very individual, but there is like an energetic climate that we share where there are things happening on a bigger scale that affect not just one of us. And this is the energy world and the events of the energy world, and that the whole world around us that we can't see with our eyes, but that is there. So I like to think of it more like this is sort of like a general update on kind of how we're all doing. And there may be messages within this that are, they feel, personal to you, or they feel like they really apply to you. But it's not my intention to be like, kind of like what I see a lot of people doing, which is like you need to hear this right now, and you need to hear this by midnight, and you need to do, it's more like, I really feel like, as someone who reads energy and works with energy, your relationship with God is like, that's the guy. And I'm just doing a job that involves that heavenly world that he's in charge of, as well as the physical world. But you have that relationship as well. So I think that's a really important relationship to have, because what I'm saying is you can get lots of advice from people, but you can also just go to the source. You can go to the top. You can ask him directly. And I think it's always really important to have that relationship. Though I do think he speaks through the people he puts in front of you. So, maybe I'll say something in this that will really feel like you were meant to hear it. And I feel like when you hear something that is meant for you, it will feel like you'll just know. I don't feel like there's anxiety that comes with the messages that are meant for you. I think there's more like a recognition that, oh, that feels right. It's kind of like, honestly, like it's just like in life when somebody says something that you're meant to hear, and that kind of clicks something into place for you, then that's the same as what I'm doing here. It's like I might say something that really feels, spot on for you, and that's awesome. But my intention is not to be like guiding everybody's personal lives and choices. It's like, you have to have your own relationship with your creator, and you have to make your own choices. But there might be insights that can help kind of click things into place for you, if that makes sense. I really like when I work with people to keep them empowered. I don't want you to feel like, I'm in charge of you or your life, because I'm not God. I'm, I do a specific thing with what I do. Seeing energy, dissolving negative energy, in the sessions that I do. And you can see more about that on my page here. But anyway, I really like doing these energy updates because I don't really know exactly what I'm going to say or where it's going to go, but I think about them sometimes even before I do them, because I just feel like, as somebody who's in the flow of all the energy that's going on around us, I feel like excited to talk about those things to other people, because I feel like we can all feel certain things, but it might be helpful for you to have like a an energy report, like a weather report on kind of the things that could be affecting all of us at once. So the first thing I'm going to say is the US election was this week, and I've done a lot of videos on that. My perspective is quite different from a lot of even spiritual people saying different things. A lot of people are saying things like, it's for the good of all, that Trump was elected in the US, and that, trust me, even if you're not in the US, I think that this is relevant for you. So don't get bored. But, and I'm going to talk about more things than just this, but listen, like, I mean, I work with very specific things. I work with finding negative energy fast and dissolving it. And I'm also an expert with feminine energy. Those are my expertise areas. Okay. So when I look at something like the US election, I'm seeing those things. And I do this, in daily life in New York City where I live. I do this in comedy when I'm doing comedy here in New York. I'm a comedian as well. I'm doing this with anywhere I go, anyone I talk to, anywhere I work or I am, or one thing my soul, like, we all have soul gifts, and one thing that I can tell you my soul is really good at, just to give you some context, is finding negative energy. I will go to a place and I will be able to tell you the negative energy that's kicking around there. I will find it. I will find the toxic, the patterns and the I will hone in on the problem. And to me, it will be so obvious, and I will point it out to people. And it's like, that is helpful, because you can't know that something's wrong until it's clear to you like that. That's one thing that I do, not just with my clients, but all the time. I'm just able to find the problem. And so I'm really good at finding negative energy. And the Trump campaign and Trump himself, like, it's just so much negative energy, because it's not just my opinion. It's the nature of negative energy is that it lies to you, and it also will literally tell you anything just to get what it wants. And his behavior, if you watch any speech he does, it's just the same behavior. It's lying. It's lying about lying. It's lying to get, to save your ass. It's just like to get your own goal. There's no sense of unity with him. And positive energy is about love, unity, togetherness, kind of like what I'm talking about with these updates. There is something that connects us. With him, it's like, it's all about him and everything he wants, and who his friends are, and more greed, and more for me, and more. There's no sense of actually being generous or giving. I've never really seen him show much empathy or sympathy or do charity work, or, you know what I mean? Like, there's something really wrong. And so when people say this is for the good of all, I'm not saying that eventually this outcome of the election won't be good for the good of all, but let's be clear that, like, who this person is. I think that's important, because to me, I can't just be like, oh, I guess he's fine because he got elected. We know who he is, and he's still the same. And especially with the way he's treated women, and I mean, you see it right there, right? So I'm also a feminine expert, so I don't agree with a lot of things that he's said or done. And, to me, it's like, we got a rapist that has been elected. Like, let's just be honest about it. And so negative energy is about illusions and lies. And so we have to be really clear, okay, about what is going on. Again, I won't talk about the election the whole time, but this matters because we need to keep doing this in our lives. Oh boy. I didn't know I was going to go in this direction, but here we go. The things that happen on mass scales like that can affect all of us, right? we can see potentially there's a problem with him. Okay, there's a problem with his campaign. There's a problem with his policies, his supporters, probably potentially the people who voted for him, right? When there's something shown to us outside of ourselves on such a mass scale, it is an invitation for us to look at ourselves. Where in your life are you kind of turning a blind eye to negativity? Like, where are you being like the temptation is to be like, oh, he must not be that bad because he's in the White House, or he's going to the White House. Like, he's the same person, whether he's elected or not. If he wasn't going to the White House, he would be going to prison. Like, he's the same guy. So, like, the fact that he was elected doesn't absolve him. So that's the temptation, to be like, oh, I guess it's not that bad. Where in your life are you potentially playing that same game or making that same mistake, thinking, oh, it's not that bad, or it's not what I thought it was, or, you know, it's not. Like, be honest with yourself, because we can't get rid of negativity unless we call it negativity. We can't get rid of, like, we're not motivated to change things unless we know there's a problem. Like I just said, like, when I go places, I can see the problem, and it's just so obvious to me, and I'll just talk about it, and it's like I help make it more obvious to other people. And it's like, this is the thing about negative energy, like, especially when it's inside of you. I really encourage my clients to, you have to call out the negativity. You have to define it. You have to say what it is. Like, you're not going to get rid of it if you will not admit that it's a problem. I think that's like, I would underline that here. You're not going to change it unless you are willing to admit that it is negative or it's a problem. You wouldn't believe how many people go through their lives and they just think that a bunch of negative beliefs, which are the negative energies inside of them, that's just the truth. And how likely are you to really change something if you just think that's the way it is, right? You're not gonna be motivated at all. Like, some people, I worked in an old folks home at one point, and it just taught me so much, because I spent hours serving food to these old people, and I got to see them up close. I got to know them, got to know their names, their stories, and I got to see their quirks and their, you know, problems and their personalities. And one thing I really took away from that was, time does not heal all wounds. Time will not heal all the trauma. And maybe I'm the first person to tell you that, but there were people in that old folks home who were 90 years old, and they still had issues, and they still had a negative attitude, and they still blamed other people for whatever, and they still, you could tell, like, you need to go to therapy. You know, like, this is a problem. They were wounded. And it really taught me, like, oh, I really didn't understand that before. That you hear this phrase, time heals all wounds, all the time. And so you think, like, oh, eventually I'll get over whatever. But the truth is, especially energetically, like, if we don't get negative energy out of us, it ain't going anywhere. Like, I mean, life is always pushing you to grow, but not all of us are like we have free will. Like, we don't have to. You could become a 90-year-old with the same problems you have right now. Like, I really want you to take that in for your own good. Think of all the issues you have now, and think about being an old person with those issues, whatever they are. The trauma, the patterns, the sadness, the depression, the anxiety, the, repeating patterns in your life, whatever it is in whatever area. Like, really get real with yourself for a second. Like, and the way that you become somebody who holds on to those negative things in your life and in yourself and in your energy is you don't act like they're a problem. You go, that's just the way it is. And you can probably think of people that you know, right? Maybe your parents, grandparents, people that you know from your life who they have issues that just don't seem to go away. Well, why is that? If time heals all wounds. Well, it's because they are taking negative beliefs, negative energies, and they're just saying that's just the way it is. Like you don't change things unless it's a problem. When you start calling it what it is, and you start calling it a problem, acting like it's a problem, not tolerating it anymore, then you know that you have to do something. It's like sometimes we do this with our health, right? We'll have symptoms show up, but we won't do anything unless we're sick. We won't do anything unless we're dying. If you were dying from something, that would be a problem. You would do something about that. It's like, what is a problem for you, and what are you just willing to tolerate? So when we have somebody like Donald Trump in front of us, and we're not willing to admit, like, there's a lot of problems with this guy, right? Then that's not going to be a good thing, because there's a lot of negative energy there. Let's just call it what it is. Same with the negative energy you might have inside of you, or what's going on in your life. Call it what it is. Say, I don't like this. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Call it what it is. Call it out. Call it a problem. Because negative energy, it loves to live inside of you. It loves to be in you. It's your enemy. You are the light. When it's in you, it distracts you. It causes problems. It dims your light, holds you back in fear, lies to you, confuses you. It only has power when it dims your light. It can't hurt you because it doesn't have power, but it can come in you and mess up things for you. And that's the only thing it can do. So when you have that inside of you and you're just like, well, that's just the way it is, you're not going to get rid of it, right? So what I'm saying is, it's really important to be honest with yourself. Be honest about, if you have a block in your heart chakra, if you have a block in your throat chakra, if you have, tension in your body, if you are dealing with a pattern in your life that's negative, if you know something's there, don't lie to yourself. Just be like, yeah, that's there. That is a problem, right? Because that is the first step. If you're not even willing to admit it's there, it's a problem, you're just letting it stay there longer, potentially forever, until you finally have had enough. And I find that people, when they come to me, it's usually because it's like they can't even stand it anymore. Negative energy causes so many problems, and if you don't get rid of it, it's just going to keep causing problems. And I just think it's important for us to be honest with ourselves. And it's not to, be afraid or to be upset, but it's like, call a spade a spade. That's the beginning of finding a way forward. And for me too, this election was about the feminine and the way we treat women. And that's another thing I would tell you is definitely going on in the energetic climate right now. We're all being encouraged to honor the feminine, really look at how you treat feminine energy. And feminine energy is a few things. Feminine energy is how you treat women, yes. If you're a woman, how you treat yourself, if you identify as a woman. Feminine energy is also just the spiritual, energetic side of your life. So how do you relate to that? Do you care about your energy, right? The masculine is the physical aspect of life, and we all really care about that a lot. But we need to care about the feminine equally, because in the energy world, that's one thing I've learned that, was really important for my understanding, and it really will help you in your life to understand this. We all as individuals have feminine and masculine energy. We individually need both, and in just the world and the universe and everywhere, we need both, and they are equal. And a lot of the problems in our world, and potentially even in your life, are caused by an imbalance of those energies. And so for women, it's really important for you to be a leader in this aspect. I feel like a lot of men, or people who don't identify as women, it's like, I think there's a sense of like, we need to do something for you and you need help. And, it's not cool to watch, the potential of, women not being treated well, and even having a president who doesn't treat them well. Like, it's not good. But what can we do about that? Well, I honestly think that the answer comes from us as women. Like, we set the standard for our lives. We set the standard for how we're treated. We really choose that for ourselves first. And then it kind of gives everybody else the idea of like what we deserve. Well, we have to really do that for ourselves right now. We don't have a president that's coming up that's going to do that for us. How are we going to do that for ourselves? So a few ways that I have been doing that is, it's not just about being a woman, it's about your energy and the spiritual aspect of your life. Clearing your energy, getting your energy cleared, meditating, connecting with God, spending time just being present, trying every day to be more present, which you can do by like, important things are like cleaning your space and like eating, drinking, like hydrating, and taking care of yourself. I was even using a shampoo that had sulfates in it, and I was just so upset. It just like didn't feel good. So I got a new shampoo and I feel so much better. And like, I got like earrings, and like the reason a lot of makeup and clothes and stuff is feminine. I got this cool jacket and I got a sequin shirt. Like, these are all feminine because they bring you back to the present and your spirit is present. That's the spiritual aspect of life. So the masculine is like doing and working and organizing and blah, blah. The feminine is being. And it's also joy. And so how are you relating to your feminine? How are you taking care of your feminine as a woman? And how can you do a better job at that? And it's not just about like looking a certain way or whatever. It's about literally what gives you joy and what makes you feel present. And yeah, like cleaning your space, having beautiful things around you, being creative. There's so many ways to buying flowers, like perfume that brings you into the present. Like there's so many ways to enhance your feminine energy. And like as a society, we need more feminine energy. Like we're like masculine way up here, feminine like somewhere way down there. And I've been saying for a long time, we don't need to have less value for the masculine, but we need to have more value for the feminine. And when the feminine and the masculine are balanced, the spiritual world, the physical world, and our value of them are equal, then that's when so many things will balance out in our entire universe and in our own personal lives. Like, I think climate change is definitely a result of us not being present, not even realizing what we're doing. Do you even think about where things go when you're done with them? If you were present, you would be questioning that more. The way that animals are treated. When you get more present with your spirit, you will be able to feel the energy of the animals you're eating, how they died. You will not want to go near that, right? So many problems are caused by this industriousness, this, work, not be present, do, like, just like, don't even feel like if it's like the Industrial Revolution kind of feeling, like we're all just workers. It's like, where's your spirit? And are you even listening to that? Because your spirit takes into like account the physical and the energy world. And the thing is, I gotta say this, like, while we're on earth, we are so prone to be fooled by the physical world. It's like mind blowing. We are so stupid. I'm just gonna say it outright. Like, we're really dumb, you guys, about this, because the energy world is what creates the physical world. You ever see something manifest? Where do you think everything that we see with our physical eyes even comes from? There is an entire world that creates that. If this world is so real, that world is even more real. That's the supernatural. And yet we're down here arguing about whether it even exists. Meanwhile, it's creating everything we see. It's dumb. I'm just gonna like be honest about this. Like, someone needs to say it, for God's sake. Like, it's just ridiculous to me that we think that the energy world's not real, or energy is not real. It's like, it's so idiotic, honestly. And it makes me mad, because it's just like, it's just like, we gotta like get it together. You know what I mean? And when you die and you see the way things really are, it's like everything makes sense. It makes sense. But wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to get that insight while you're alive and be able to make better choices and live a better life? That's what the energy world, your spirit is aware of both realities, like both. So when you connect to your spirit, when you connect to God, when you listen to guidance from God, when you pray, it's like, it's so valuable. And we run into problems when we don't connect, we don't get that insight, because we can see one thing. Have you ever in your life thought something was one way, and then you like found out you were wrong? Like, we've all been there. This physical world is full of illusions. Like, you might think that you saw something, or you did or like something happened a certain way, and then you find out, oh, that wasn't even the truth. Like even just a misunderstanding with someone. You could hear someone say something and you thought they meant one thing and they really meant another thing. It's like, well, yeah, because you only were going by the physical world and what you heard. If you consulted the energy world and the spirit world, which contains all the knowledge, all the insight into the truth of everything, you would see there's something else going on. So that's where, like, working with someone who works with energy like me, or, listening to something like an energy report like this, or praying, connecting to God. Like, I really want to reiterate, like, you have the ability to connect, honey. You are from that world. Like, that's all I do. I just connect right to him if I need help. And I have been on the verge of making really dumb mistakes. And I have, in that moment, consulted God and heard to do something else. And I listened to that, and then I find out that was the right thing to do. So the energy world is full of wisdom. The feminine is so full of wisdom that we need. And in your own life, like, are you really valuing your energy and your spirit? And not just being like a la la la, I'm energy girl. It's like, it's like, the feminine is about all those things I mentioned. It's like, are you present in your life? Do you take care of yourself? Do you feel present? Do you have things around you that you enjoy? Do you, all the things I mentioned, like clean your space? Do you, like, are you present with your loved ones? Do you pray? Like, you probably feel the energy from me right now, like when I talk about it. I'm a feminine activator. You could feel that, right? So it's like, this is a real priority for all of us right now, because the imbalance is like this, not just in the world, but in all of us generally. And because we're just taught that this is what matters, the masculine matters most. And I know this is so true even for, money, things that feel very practical. Have you ever just made money though, like out of nowhere, like you manifested it? Okay, well, that's the feminine. That's like a really big deal. That is, they're equal. I'm actually writing an ebook that I'm releasing this Friday, coming Friday, November 15th. And it is called Spiritual Wealth, because there's so much to talk about with money and spirit. Like, there's a whole feminine side to wealth. And my biggest, thing that just, I don't know the feeling I get, but it's just I'm just mad is when spiritual people, or people who are interested in spiritual work, or, are so talented with spiritual gifts, tell me they don't have money, or they don't have enough money, or they want to do something but they don't have enough money. And I'm always like, that doesn't make sense, because if you really work with the energy world, there's a connection. These two energies aren't at battle, you guys. They work together. They are connected, and you need to value them equally. If you don't have the funds in your bank account, you shouldn't be fooled by the physical world and the fact that you only have a certain amount of money. Well, what about the infinite spiritual world? What about the ability for God to provide for you? What about changing your frequency? Or, when you connect to your feminine a lot, what happens is you get ideas. That's one of my favorite things about the feminine, is you get ideas on what to do. Like, the feminine will communicate with you, because again, this world takes into consideration all the details that you can't even see. There's so much of the time money all around you, potentials. I feel like that's so true. And have you ever noticed, when you have money, it's like you're always getting more, because you just have that belief that you have money, or that you deserve it. And then if you don't have money, it's like you always don't have enough. Well, then there's an energetic connection right there. Why do you always feel like you can get more if you already have? And why do you always feel like you don't have enough if you don't have any? And it's there's so many connections with wealth and your frequency and your beliefs. Your energy influences your actions. It influences the clarity of your thought and your ideas and the things that you can see around you, the potentials for what you could do. And I encourage you, I know there are probably people who want advice on this. I'll give you some advice right now. Write down 100 potential ways that you could make money, even if they're illegal, and just get all that idea energy out. And I bet within that list, there will be 5 things that you could actually do without getting arrested. But there are probably things around you that you could do, and you're not doing them because you're not in the belief or the energetic space, where you're thinking that you have, or you have a lot, and so you can get more. So anyway, that's a tip right there. Yeah. If you really sat down and you wrote down 100 ways you could potentially make money, get really creative, crazy stuff. And then I bet there's going to be a few real ones in there that you could actually do to generate income. This life we're living, you guys, it's not against us. It's not against you. God is in charge. Positive energy is in charge. I think that something like the election, or whatever you might be going through that feels difficult, there is potential for it to turn out and be for the highest good of all. But let's also realize that things transforming us and helping us be strong, it doesn't mean that we call it good all of a sudden. Sometimes it's the challenge that makes us strong. If you're going to look at yourself like I recommended and be where are the negative energies in me? Where are the blocks? Where are the problems? I got to get real about that. It's going to challenge you. And then you can use that challenge to grow and to change things and to make things better. That is for your highest good, right? But it's not through just being like, everything's fine, love and light. Like, I don't think that's how that works. I think that this was a cry for help from the world that we didn't elect a female leader, because we so need that wisdom of the feminine, that perspective. And to me, it's so obvious if we're in balance like this that we need female leadership. It just makes sense. And I think that we need to purge a lot of things that are negative and see them for what they are. But we also need to do that in our own lives. We need to do that for ourselves. We need to stop lying to ourselves. We need to stop pretending. We need to start connecting to God, honoring the feminine. And I gave a lot of advice for how women can honor themselves. But for men, and if you don't identify as a woman, or if you're non-binary, like, be more sensitive to women. Be more sensitive to the fact that they need your love and support. There's no perfect way to support women. You just do whatever you can. Just the intention can be very healing for women. Just trying. Just knowing that they go through things that you don't necessarily go through on a daily basis. And showing you care can help strengthen them. And that's going to help strengthen the feminine and help create that balance. And also, how do you relate to your own spirit? How do you relate to your feminine? Even if you don't identify as a woman, you have a feminine side of your energy. How do you relate to all the things I mentioned? Your presence, your spirit, God, the energy world. Do you value that? Like, and do you really value it? Take the time to really try to connect to that part of you. Put value on it in your life, and that will help you as well. Women, men, non-binary, we all balance in different ways. These are 3 different energy anatomies, but the simple advice I'll give you is that if you identify as a woman, you need to put your feminine energy first, and your feminine energy will then bridge with your masculine energy. So this will look like you become present, you do the things I mentioned. You value your feminine, your presence, your pleasure, you take care of yourself, you take care of your space, you connect to your spiritual world and God. You put that first, actually. When you do that, you will get ideas on what to do. You will get the instructions, the wisdom. And that's the bridge to your masculine. Now, take action on these things. Work, do these things, put them out in the world. Like, that's how a woman's energy works. A man's energy is actually, he puts his energy, or his masculine first. Wait, I'm switching sides. Okay, but anyway, he puts his masculine first. If you're a man, this is what's best for your energy. Have a tight schedule, tight workout schedule. Be really rigid about your regimen, scheduling, logic, organization, finances. Just be really organized, all those things. Work hard, hustle, drive yourself, go for it. Your energy will work with that. And as you do that, you probably heard men say this if you've ever dated a man, they really like to have that part of their life in place before they can open up to love, for example, or their spirit. And there's this innate knowing that you need to kind of have that first. So that's really what you need to focus on as a man. And then when you do that, you'll start to have these moments of relaxation and feeling like you can relax, feeling like you can enjoy your relationships, open up to love, open up to your spirit. You'll feel peaceful inside when you connect to your spirit and meditating and taking care of your space and your relationships and all the feminine kind of flowy parts of life. if you have that kind of rigid schedule and, you know, you feel really solid in that, in your work and your action every day, then that will bridge with the feminine. You'll naturally have both. Okay, so that's how that works. And then I call it conjuring your feminine. And then when you're non-binary, I like to say work when work feels restful, and rest when rest feels productive. So you have to feel that for yourself. Like, work when you feel like it's just in that zone and you feel really like it's almost like restful to do that work. And then rest is needed when you're resting and it actually feels productive, not lazy or not wasting time. You can feel that. And so these are ways to navigate these energies for yourself. And I hope that it helps you, because this whole balance of the feminine and the masculine, it's so important. And the more balanced we are, the more we contribute to a balanced planet. And so I think that, you know, what we're seeing with the election, what we need to be honest with about ourselves, it's something we need to look at. And again, change comes from the clarity of what's really going on. Like, we can't pretend that the problem's not there, because remember I told you, if you pretend it's not there, you're in danger of it staying that way. Let's just be honest about what it is and be motivated to do better, be motivated to change, and be motivated to try something new. Maybe these tips that I gave you will help you make some decisions about how you can do that. And if you're interested in getting coaching or getting, you know, personalized advice, I'm doing free 30-minute consults right now. You can book one in the link in the description, and you can talk to me about your masculine feminine balance. Another thing I want to mention before I hop off is, this is going to blow your mind, because I just gave you a lot of like instructions. The clearer your energy is, the more naturally balanced you are. So the only thing that ever throws you off your feminine masculine natural balance that you were born with, that you have in your spirit, is negative energy. It's like a cog in the machine. It's like messing up the mechanism of your soul. Your soul is perfect and balanced with your feminine and masculine naturally. The only thing that can get in the way is negative energy. So you can do things to help support a balance of feminine and masculine in yourself, but if you have a lot of negative energy blocking you, you're still going to experience a lot of problems and imbalance. And this affects your mental health, your physical health, your world, how positive it is, your energy, how you feel, feeling like yourself. So the clearer your energy is, it's like a fast track to that balance. And again, that balance is the highest point of frequency for you as a soul, for you as a person. It's like you at your best, baby. So I recommend getting your energy cleared and adopting new habits that will support these two energies to balance in you, if that makes sense. And so what I do is I do sessions. They're called Energy Queen Alchemy, or EQA. And I see negative energy. Again, like I said, I see it really quickly in people. I see it visually also. And during the consults, I will draw a picture for you of where it is. And then I will recommend, a number of sessions to do with you so that you can get that energy cleared. It can dissolve instantly. And it dissolves in layers. You have tons of layers in your energy, but you will feel the effects right away. I just want to mention, I had a client who found me on YouTube. So awesome. I love new people finding me on YouTube. And everybody's always like, it's the algorithm. It just brings you to me. And I'm like, I love that. And probably a combination of the algorithm and God, let's be honest. But, and your frequency, drawing something in, a solution. But she had a lot of anxiety, and she met with me. She did the free consult, and we had the goal of like helping her anxiety. I said, you know, let's do 4 sessions. And we just finished the 4th session on Friday. And I asked her, tell me the truth. Like, how do you feel? And so this is like 2 weeks later. Okay. She was like, you know, I really do feel lighter. I feel happier. My reality is getting more positive. And her worry when she first started working with me was like, what if it doesn't work on me? And she said on Friday, it worked. It worked for her. So this is something real. And again, like, you know, when we talk about energy, a lot of people are like, is that even a thing? Let's get past that. It's very real. My clients are getting real results. Your life could be getting better. Let's just be clear. And this is a very real part of your health, your energy, your mental health, and your reality. Your energy creates your reality. Anyway, I think I've said enough for one update. But yeah, if you're interested in talking to me, you're totally welcome to book a free consult. I want to mention too that in November, I'm actually adding on 1 bonus session to all the packages I'm selling. So that client I just talked to on Friday, we're going to do a bonus session next week. She just got a bonus session. So I love being super generous, and I'm doing that all November if you book with me this month. And I'm doing a new package called the Soul Laundry, because, you know, you got to do laundry. But what about your soul, right? Like I said, like if you don't clear it, it can just stay there. So this is your motivation. Soul Laundry sessions are 50% off in November as well. And it's a really, really good price. You're going to be shocked if you do a consult with me and you find out. And yeah, I'm really excited to be helping people. If this speaks to you, I'd love to see you on a consult. Some people book with me from them, some don't. They're free consults. You can take what's meant for you. But I'm totally excited to be meeting new people through YouTube. And thank you so much for liking and subscribing. And if this message helped you, please like and please subscribe and please comment so that more people get to see it. And I also want to just give you a little love and energy at the end of this video. Like, God bless you, you know, watching this long and being present with me and taking in these things and hearing these things. And I want you to know that your soul knows these things. These aren't things that I'm like, hey, I made all this up. It's like, this is just stuff that it's like you remember. Because remember, you're not from the physical world originally. You're from the energy world. You know all these things. And the best thing that you can do in life is to remember them while you're alive so you can live better. You're here for a reason. You are totally here for a reason. You're here for a beautiful purpose. And you have to trust God. You have to trust in your purpose. And you have to trust that there is light inside of you that is more powerful than anything you've ever been through. And what I love to do for people is to free them from the bonds of negative energy, because the more you let it stay inside you, it's like, I don't clear negative energy out of people just because it's fun. It's to free your light because you have a purpose. So don't wait on the negative stuff don't let it keep blocking you. You have a reason for being here. Keep remembering that. No one can take that away. It's who you are. And the clearer your energy gets, the faster all that's out of the way. There's nothing that can stop you. And negative energy knows that. That's why it tries to invade your life and convince you can't do anything. And, you know, the negative beliefs, and tries to bring you down, tries to tell you don't matter. You know, all negative beliefs are wrong. They're all lies. And if you reconnect to that spirit that you are, you're going to feel that. You know, you're going to feel that truth. So what I do is I do the soul laundry. We get you clean, we get you cleared so that you can get back in touch with that power that you have, so that you can go do that and be that and have the success not only that you deserve, but that's going to serve the world, right? So thank you so much for watching. I want you to feel that love, feel that, register in your soul the truth, right, of that message. And yeah, I just want to tell you how wonderful you are, and keep believing in the positive, because that is the truth, okay? So thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I will see you this week. I'm sure I'll be putting a lot of videos up, and if you have any video requests, any questions you have about energy, feel free to put them in the comments. I would love to do a video for you. So thank you so much for watching. Lots of love. Bye.